Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to Arsenic Candy Gaming, and welcome to Rimworld. Rimworld is a game that I've owned for a very long time, long before it ever landed on Steam, that I've put a few hundred hours into, and I'm still awful. The majority of the time I've played was long before the 1.0 release, so I have recently gotten back into it. What happened, I was going through some old files, clearing up space on my hard drive, and I stumbled across a Audacity recording, which was the first ever Let's Play video I tried to make, and it was a Rimworld video. I might even put a break here to whack in some of the audio from that so we can listen to how terrible recording it was. Rimworld is a sci-fi colony sim inspired by the likes of Dwarf Fortress and Joss Whedon's Firefly, amongst others. It features an intelligent AI director that generates stories by sending you increasingly more difficult events to overcome. But it inspired me, and I've come back to try out Rimworld. I've been playing it for the last week, I think, off and on, only in brief moments, to try and get back into it so that we can make a video. So for those who don't know what Rimworld is, it is a sci-fi colony survival simulator with a AI storyteller that will throw events at you to make things difficult or fun or easy or interesting. Very basic description of an overwhelmingly complex system, and it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. Explaining it isn't going to do any justice. So we're going to start a new colony. We're going to go for we get to choose of one of many scenarios that determine the amount of people and resources you have. We're not going to explain too much about any of them, but we're going to start with the basic scenario: crash landed. The three of you awaken your cryo-sleep sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping metal. So we'll start with 3 people that we get to choose out of 8. We get a whole bunch of materials like money and survival meals and medicines and stuff. And the next part is the interesting part, is our AI storyteller. The AI storyteller creates events like pirate raids, resource drops, or animal attacks. Their choices will reflect the story of the colony. You can change these settings at any time. So the 3 AI storytellers we've got are Cassandra Classic. She will gradually build up from very easy events to overwhelmingly difficult over a period of time. It'll be relatively random, but consistently she will constantly step up the pace. Then we have Phoebe Chillax. Phoebe Chillax gives you lots of time between disasters, which sounds like it would be great for building, but what tends to happen is she takes it easy with you for the beginning, and then it's been so long since anything's happened, you haven't had any of the good fun stuff like new residents have turned up or random happy events, and suddenly she's thrown a storm at you that's destroying half your colony. Phoebe Chillax is a good peaceful builder. If you want to practice it on peaceful, give it a go. But you will not have a lot of cool events. It does say actually major direct threats are disabled, but challenges like disease, mental breaks, and mad animals can still occur. Randy Random is my favourite. Randy doesn't follow the rules. He'll generate random events, and he doesn't care if they make a story of triumph or utter hopelessness. It's all drama to him. Since Randy is truly random, he will sometimes send extremely difficult or unfair groups of events at you. It makes for high drama and unavoidable sacrifices. Randy Random is, in many ways, the true Rimworld experience. It doesn't hold your hand. I mean, you can go days of real world play and not have anything terrifying happen, or you can start a new game and within the first 10 in-game days you've had massive pirate raids destroying your base, as anybody who's watched the most recent Twitch streams can attest to. So we are going to play with Randy Random because it's exciting, and we're going to go for an adventure story. It's not the most difficult, but it's going to allow us to have enough events happen that we can make the YouTube interesting without killing everybody in the first week. There's room to grow and thrive, but it's still a dangerous planet. So let's move on. So now, we want to go on to commitment mode. So we can reload anytime mode or commitment mode, which means it only saves when we quit the game. So anything that happens is permanent. We don't get to change our mind. We are going to seed our world. We're going to go with Arsenic Candy and see what that does for us. So we're picking a world seed to randomly generate a planet. We'll do 100% globe coverage. It will take a while to generate the planet, but who cares? So here it is. Here is our planet. There are many biomes that you can choose from, all of which have their, pluses and minuses. Some of them mostly minuses. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose a temperate forest area somewhere along the equator. Temperate forest gives us a good amount of wood and animal life and water, and being on the equator gives us generally speaking, the best amount of growing season year round. If you go too far north, obviously you get more frozen seasons, or entirely frozen seasons, and if you go to deserts, etc., you end up with a barren wasteland with ne'er any rain and a difficult time growing any food. There is tropical rainforest as well, which is fun, but diseases are rife and people will be falling ill all the time. So we're going to take a moment to find a good spot of land, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we have selected a temperate forest area around 3 degrees north-south, so that we have a year-round growing period. There are, the further south you go, further north you go, you get shorter and shorter growing periods. I was looking at one that had 40 out of 60 days worth of growing period, but I think for the purposes of this, we'll go for a year-round growing period. We have a bit of rainfall, a lot of forageability with berries. Animals can graze. We're in some large hills, which means we have a lot of rocks and cliff sides, etc., that we can mine into for materials, etc. Average disease frequency 1.2 per year. None of that means anything to anybody that doesn't know how to play the game right now, but there you go. So we are going to select this site, and we're going to move on with the next stage of our game, which is choosing our colonists. So what we want to do is we want to get a good mix of skills. There are some skills in particular that we're looking for. We're going to concentrate on, bear with me. So we want good plants, construction, shooting most likely, and intellectual, so that we can do research and stuff. The other skills are all extremely important, but not as important as those. Cooking for the most part at the beginning is relatively pointless. It takes up a lot of time. You run the risk of people getting food poisoning early days. We don't want that. We're going to make some allowances for unskilled workers. So we want to find some colonists that have a good set of skills and not as many negatives. So the negatives we can possibly have are skills that people are incapable of, skilled labour and hauling. We don't want anybody that's not capable of much, to be honest. If they're incapable of something, we want it to be something relatively minor. Not that there's a lot that you could let anybody get away with not doing, but things like dumb labour, like hauling and cleaning, caring for other people, cooking, firefighting, those are all very important things later on. Plus this person has a dependency on smoke leaf, which is marijuana essentially. We're going to randomize a few and see if we can come up with a good team. Okay, after much messing and fiddling about, I think we've come up with the 3 that we're happy to start with. We might not have hit all the bases for all of the skills we want, but I like what we've got going on here. So we have Frankie, a 27-year-old male Star Knight. Abducted from his medieval homeworld, Frankie later escaped his captors via an impressive display of swordsmanship. For a moment, as he drifted in the escape pod, his childhood dream of becoming a knight among the stars felt so real. Then he crash-landed. So Frankie has really good melee and shooting skills. Not that we need both of them all the time, but later on that might come in handy when we want to trade out weapons regularly, depending on the enemies that we have coming in. Keese is an optimistic child. He is very young, so he's got a lot of life ahead of him in order to train up a lot of skills. But the best things about him, he is trigger happy, which means that he has a reduced aiming time, but a reduced accuracy. Not great, but there you go. He's an optimist. He has a permanent mood effect. That is great. And he's very kind, is exceptionally kind, has a special way of using kind words to brighten someone's day. He never insults others and never judges people by their appearance. That's perfect. He has no current health and conditions or relationships. Neither does anybody else in our current colony. That's what I wanted to say. And I think that's us. I think we're ready to go. So let's get ourselves down to our new world. The three of you awake in your cryotosleep sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping metal. You barely get to the escape pods before the ship is torn apart. Sometime later, you land on this unknown Rimworld. As pieces of the shredded starship fall around you, you start making plans to survive. And that's where we are now. Let us land. Immediately, the soundtrack to Rimworld is one of the best I've ever experienced. There's a lot of indie games of recent years that have just the most amazing soundtracks, and Rimworld is right up there, along with Project Zomboid and a lot of others, in fact. So we have our three survivors crash landed. We are able to speed up and slow down time using the 1, 2, 3 buttons. We can pause with spacebar, but our first actions here, we need to find who our top shooting person is. Now, as much as Frankie here has outstanding shooting, Frankie has the best possible melee that we could hope for. So I think what we might do is go with Frankie taking the melee weapon. We might even get him the plasteel helmet and other armor so that he can get up close and personal with the baddies when needed. Then our next best shooter would be Hokujin Jet Baraku. You can equip that, and then that leaves Keys to pick up a revolver. What we need to do now is unforbid all of these items so that our colonists can pick them up. These are bits of wreckage that fell down from the ship with us that make up our starting equipment. Before we do anything else, we need to decide where we're going to settle down. We do need to worry because there is a timber wolf over here who is extremely likely to want to try and kill us if we're not careful. So our first action is to get a little bit of a base set up. So we're going to need somewhere for everybody to sleep, which I think off the bat we're just going to go with a barracks where we can put multiple people. Then we need to concentrate on having somewhere for food to be stored. That might actually be the better of the choices, because if we don't store our equipment, our food, etc., then it is going to rot very quickly. So if we set up our stockpile zone here, that will store all of our foods and equipments that we want. We don't want things like steel put in there because there's just no need for it. Plant matter can go in there because otherwise that will rot. Stone blocks don't need to go in there. Steel is what we've got at the moment. Raw resources. Chunks is the other thing we're looking at. Yeah, we don't want stone chunks and stuff like that in there. But for the moment, pretty much everything else needs to go in there. So that will make our refrigerator area. Then we want to set up 3 small barracks. I think these are probably a little bigger than we need, but we'll go with it. What did we go with? 8 by 8. We're going to go 8 by 8s here today. That way everybody's got a nice big room. Nobody should have anything to complain about when they've got a nice big room. Oh, that is one bigger than we wanted, I believe. Nope, it's perfect. Stop doubting yourself. They are very big rooms. I normally wouldn't give my colonists such a large room, but hey ho, decisions were made in the spur of the moment, and you know what? I'm not going back on it. This is our dumping stockpile, so this is stuff that doesn't need to sit outside, such as chunks of stone and bits of metal, etc. I don't think, steel doesn't rot outside, so For the moment, we're going to chuck our steel in it, only because we don't want all of our space taken up with it. What we can do is we can set our colonists to have manual construction priorities. So manual work priorities. So we don't want them making too many decisions for themselves, because they frequently will make bad decisions. We'll put you on 3. You're not a great doctor, but we'll make use of you while we've got you, and everyone needs to be on bed rest. So everyone's going to be able to do basic things. Jet will not be able to do warden skills. He doesn't have the relevant skills to pull it off. That is managing, feeding, and treating prisoners, etc. Hunting. Frankie will be able to do our hunting when we're there. You'll be able to do our research, though we're not going to be worrying about that for now. So we need to set up our possible sources of electricity as soon as possible. Do we need to do that right now? I think these might be the most essential, but we are going to need our food cooled, so maybe getting it done as quickly as possible is the right course of action. We're going to leave space so that we can build somewhere for our batteries. We can't build close to this, because that is a tree that people meditate around, and to build near it disturbs its psychic powers. I didn't think that through. Okay, maybe we'll need to relocate our base a little bit then, because that's a real pain in the arse. Okay, so change of plan. For the moment, what we're going to do is we're just going to build up around some existing... why won't you let me do that? Come on, don't be ridiculous. How far down can I not build? Most of that. Okay, so the plan is scrapped entirely. We have to find somewhere else to build. Maybe up in this area would be the safest. It's quite shielded from all sides. Means we can dig into this mountain a little bit for a bit of protection. I think that's the way it's going to have to be, isn't it? Oh, that's a real shame. I had high hopes for that area. I thought that was going to go really well. We don't want to do that, because that means we can't build on it. Just need to make a decision about where we're going, David. I mean, that's quite ready already. There's some jade up there we can steal. Okay, so we're just, rather than building from scratch, we're going to take this area up here. We're going to convert this into our base. Has it already set our home area? We need to remove the home area, don't we? Remove that. Rebuild up here. So we want to build a roof area over this. Hopefully that works. I don't know. It's been a while since I've attempted to build on a pre-built facility. We'll see if that works out. And then we'll set the zone inside it as our stockpile. Like that. Maybe we'll build a wall through the middle so that we can just have a bit of a barracks on the bottom here. I think that's the way to go for now. Just means we don't have quite so much to build, I guess. So our first night will go a bit quicker. I don't know if there's any issues with building around existing abandoned buildings and stuff. I mean, this is a grave, essentially, right? Steles have been used since ancient times to memorialize individuals, battles, and other important events. Maybe. Maybe it's a bad idea. We'll find out. Such is the adventure of coming back to a game that you haven't played in a very long time. So we need to build... we need to put down our new dumping stockpile here. And we also need to tell this not to have steel in it, don't we? So... no steel. Steel. Job done. Now what's going to happen now is all of our dudes are going to start taking all this stuff and stockpiling it. And then hopefully people will start building. We also need to now plan about where we're going to put our food, etc. I'd like to get a good plan in action before we unpause the game, but I don't know if we're going to do that today because it doesn't make for the most exciting of gameplay, does it? We're going to build our first wind turbine there, and then we're going to run some power over to it. So we've got electricity coming into our building, and then we can put down a cooler for storing our food. And then we'll be good to go. Once we've got that on the move, then we can start worrying about how we feed ourselves. Which we will do this time around with a nutrient paste dispenser. What a nutrient paste dispenser is you whack ingredients in it and the colonists dispense paste, essentially. Just a mush of food. It doesn't make them very happy to eat this mush, but it is far better than them getting food poisoning. It isn't the ideal beginning for us, but it's what we've got, and we're going to make the best out of it. We will put a lamp in here, and we'll put a lamp in here so that we can shed some light on the situation. Is that vomit there? Am I mistaken? Vomit of Jet. Marvellous. Somebody vomited. I don't know why. Jet, what's the matter with you? No explanation into... Oh, it's cryosleep sickness. When they wake up, initially, they... I don't know if they always have or they just have a chance of feeling a bit ill from being in cryosleep for such a long period of time. But they'll get over it. And they'll make friends, and then they will inevitably die. Another thing we've got here that we haven't pointed out yet is Earl. Earl is a male Yorkshire Terrier of age 4. All colonies begin with a randomised pet. Ours, in this case, is a dog. Dogs can end up doing lots of helpful things like guarding, attacking, rescuing colonists that have been injured, or hauling goods. Let's set up our schedule so that people are working when we want them to be working and not hanging about doing nothing. That might be a little bit too much work for the moment. We'll give them 2 hours of recreation there. We'll add another hour of work on at the beginning of the day. Get them up slightly earlier. That'll do it. I want this built before anything else, guys. We also need to set the importance of our storage areas. I don't know that we really needed this many hoppers for all of our food, but they're there. We won't need them later. We won't need to build them later. Now, we need to have a plan of action, but I don't know what that plan is. Could you haul that, please? Before they get ruined. Thanks very much. You, could you haul this? And you, could you haul this? In fact, we'll just set everybody to haul as a priority. And then they'll do that. We'll leave that one person on construct instead of hauling. Job done. So long-term goal for Rimworld is establish a solid community, Oh, some boom rats. Not boom rats, boomalope. These lovely bastards can be tamed and then used to milk for petrol, essentially, isn't it? Chem fuel, that's what it is. Which is weird, but there you go. What have we got here? A lynx and a timber wolf. Hopefully they'll take care of each other so that we don't have to. And a warg. We don't need any run-ins with the warg. We have a lot of compacted steel, silver ore. These are all good. These are all good, valuable resources that we can use later on in the game. And of course, the jade that we've got up here might be able to sell or make some statues out of. Oh, we need a recreational activity, don't we? So that they've got a way of relaxing at the end of a long, hard day. We will pop that there. And then we'll set up an area where... Oh, are these not sufficiently... They're not plants is what the problem is. They were trees. So we also need to consider where we're going to grow our crops. We won't survive very long if we don't have a solid farm set up. Is this all stony ground? Soil. We don't have a lot of highly fertile soil, which is rich soil is the words I'm looking for. There's some there. And there. Oh, is that stony, not rich? No, it is rich. So we can build a tunnel through here and then set up our little farm over there. We'll be able to build some protections here from any potential raiders that could come for us. Compacted plasteel, nice. We've got a good little area. I'm positive about it. Could you finish building this bed so that you've got somewhere to sleep at least? So for the first few days, we're going to survive mainly on packaged survival meals. We will be okay. We will overcome. But beyond that, we're going to need to have a solid food supply set up. Let's get everybody settled first. See what happens. They are in the dark. We could have solved that by chucking down a couple of torch lamps so that they had some light by which to operate. I completely forgot about the possibility of doing it. We'll chuck that one there, and hopefully that will be enough light for them to work by for the most part of the next day. I don't know that I've ever really managed to make a colony survive long enough to say that it's been a successful colony. I mean, we've had... What on earth was that? Something just got killed, and I'm not entirely sure what it was. Oh, it was the timber wolf eating a rat. Lovely. What a lovely guy. If you do that, then we'll be able to build faster, won't we? Did you not prioritize working on that? If you just cut that oak tree down. Cheers. Somebody needs to be on plant cutting, don't they? Okay, that can be your job for the moment. Oh, do you know what? I don't know that we did get a good mix of people. We're lacking some specific skills. You're already constructing that lamp. Okay, cool. So they'll generally work much faster now that there's a bit of light for them to operate by. Should we deconstruct that? Reclaim part of its resources. It's in a pretty bad state. Oh, we can claim this whole area, can't we? Claim. This is ours. There we go. Then they'll look after it that way. Once they have the requisite skills and materials, they'll maintain and fix up all of these things. What floor is this? Is this marble tile? Okay. As soon as we have the skills, we'll build some marble tile over the rest of this floor. And then it'll be much nicer in here. Hunter lacks ranged weapon. That's okay. You don't need to be a hunter, do you? I forgot that you have the greatest of melee skills. Is it Jet that has the rifle? Yes. So you can be our hunter when we feel the need for it. I might regret that in the long run. Frankie has the possibility of being a great hunter. Earl's going to need some food at some point as well. How's our power working out? So we need to now tackle all these trees that are in front of this turbine. Otherwise, people will not be able to access it. So somebody's on plant cutting. Keese, you're on plant cutting. Get that sorted, my friend. Here, do these ones. As we're plant cutting and not harvesting, it's done slightly quicker, but I don't think that we get back as many materials. I could just be talking rubbish there, though. Still blocked by an oak tree. Right, now, somebody needs to take out this wolf very quickly. It's this one that needs to be hunted. Oh, we're gonna regret this. This is gonna be a problem. Don't shoot Jet. Can we rescue that timber wolf? Can we rescue it and tame it? No. We could just kill it, surely. We don't currently have a medical bed for our colonists to heal in, which is going to be a problem. And if Keith was our doctor, which he's not, that's okay. Frankie, you're going to have to do something, mate. Are you just standing around waiting to help? Yeah, of course you are. So Jet now has some injuries. What does she have? What on earth was that? The lynx is eating the timber wolf. Good. Is the circle of life. So Jet has a couple of bites, nothing major, just a little scratch and a bite. She's going to be okay. This lynx isn't hungry, which is good for us. It's not currently trying to eat us. Now we've set up our little cooler area, sorry, our storage area, and we've installed a cooler here. What we can do is if we set that, do you know what, we don't read. So difficult to make decisions about how to play this now. We need a storage area for wood and other materials so that they don't take up all of our internal areas. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to cancel or clear this zone here. Shrink that zone completely. And then we're going to build a further structure out here. Which will act as a further storage area for our non-perishable items. Because I am an idiot. That table... Oh, they've repaired all the walls. And all the other... That wall isn't repaired currently, but it will be. I hope. Let's just check that we've expanded... or claimed it. Cool, it's in our home area. Everything's going fine. So the cooler is going to keep food cool if we have it set to the right temperature. As long as we have it below 0, it will attempt to freeze the food that's within there, and thus the food will never go rotten. Unfortunately, that is affected by the outside temperature, people opening the door, etc. So we need to make sure that it is closed and locked as much as possible. So in order to do that, we're going to stop people storing other items in there. We do need cleaning done very quickly. Let's just make sure that we haven't got an unnecessary home area like this. We don't need that as a home area. Yes, we're all good. So now this area should drop down in the bottom left. You can see what the temperature is. So at the moment we're measuring the outdoor temperature of 13 degrees. Inside here is dropped down to 6 degrees so far. It should get down below 0 very quickly, and then everything's going to freeze and not rot, which all organic materials do. Such is life. I think we'll square this off a little bit. Hopefully we can grab a bit more jade out of there. We'll mine into here as well, so that we can build some structure. And then that's going to need a door for the Rimians to get inside and out. And then we will make that a different storage area. Stockpile zone, sorry. And that will be for clear all. So we're going to want things like our blocks. We don't want plant matter stored in there because it will rot. I'm going to make that an important priority so that they'll take it seriously and put things there when they need to be there. We're also going to store things like items, weapons, apparel, buildings in there. What else is in here that we don't want stored? It's looking good so far. Manufactured stuff can go in there as well. We will expand and we will have various storage areas. And as we go further, we'll have specific gun racks, etc. So that it's not taking up space it doesn't need to take up. What are you doing there? You're sleeping on a block of limestone. Helpful. I'm sure that's extremely comfortable for you. Somebody could probably do with butchering that wolf at some point. So what we'll also do now, who's our lead miner? That'll be you then, won't it? Because you have little else to do. We'll put all these other things to 2. In fact, yes, we'll put these other things to 2. I do want you cleaning for a moment though, so if you could do that, Frankie, I'd appreciate it. Do some cleaning. A dirty home is an unhappy home, so we want it to be extremely clean, and we are also going to need to start considering doing some research in order that we can learn new items and production materials and production methods, etc. Lest we will be stuck in the Stone Age on this Rimworld. How's everyone doing? So, Frankie, he has low expectations anyway. His recreation is fully satisfied. He has initial optimism from his new colony. He's quite comfortable. His sleep was disturbed because he shares a room with people. He ate without a table, but we can set that up as a table for them to eat around. They slept in the cold. That's worth noting. So we can set up some form of heating in here that will keep them all warm. I think if we get rid of that and that now, and then we can set up a heater in here that will keep everybody relatively happy, I guess. We'll do that later. They'll be okay for now. We're just shirking materials around at the moment. Once Jet's awake... Oh, she's our constructor, isn't she? Are you just hauling? Is that what you're doing? Oh. Oh my goodness. I need to concentrate. Get some constructing done now, please. Thank you. I know you're not great at it, but, you know, I don't have anybody else at the moment. We do need to see how everybody's doing emotionally, though. So her health is clearing up. She's not currently able to walk perfectly because her leg is still injured, and she's in a little pain. She's hungry. She's in minor pain. Her recreation is unfulfilled, and she's had disturbed sleep. So the sooner we can get individual rooms for our colonists, the better. So that is the next structure that we will begin. We will get these guys their own living quarters, in spite of what I previously said, because we want them to be happy. Happy colonists are going to do well. They're going to thrive. We have, however, put ourselves in a bit of a spot. We will deconstruct all of these things because we can use the materials. And then we can build in the space that is left. Useful. We still don't have a dumping area now. So we're going to pop another one of those up here. And use that for our stone chunks, etc. What would we benefit from here? Somewhere to butcher this wolf. So if we pop a little unit on the side here, make it slightly bigger than we actually want it to be. And then we can put the butcher's table in. Then they will be happy to butcher in there because they'll have a little bit more room, a chair for them to sit at. We're actually going to stick down a dining table, a bunch of chairs, so that people don't have to eat standing up. Defenses need batteries. We'll worry about defenses in a little while. Which will be too late. Because by the time we need defenses, we'll have been attacked. I'm going to drop that down a little bit more. How much are we going to go down by? Another 10. Okay. Now we don't want any of this to stored in here. We want it stored somewhere else. We don't want items, weapons and apparel in there. We don't want buildings in there. We just want plant matter, etc, etc. Yes. We don't want rotten food in there. How long's this got left on it? Can we haul that, please? Just to get it out of... No. Will you let me store animals there? Why won't you let me store food there? I'm missing something here, bear with me. Meat. Corpses. Animal corpses. Not in the corner there, obviously. That's not the place to put it. So tomorrow, this little production area will be finished, which will be our butchery room, in order that we can chop up some corpses, etc. Jet is fully healed. Let's turn your bed back into a regular bed. I think these boys are going to have to just deal with sharing a room for the moment. Basically, you're going to have to finish this wall. Sorry, you can't leave that as it is. And that one, thanks. Now you can do whatever you want. It's all coming together quite nicely. I'm sure there are many more things that we could be doing, but they're just not on the cards at the moment. Let's remove Keith's construction, or reduce Keith's... No. Yeah, we'll reduce Keith's construction so that Keys can concentrate on what we want Keys to do, which is plant cutting. How about growing? You can do growing as well. So I think we're going to have to start considering what crops we're putting down. We're going to start with some basic, nice and easy, that will grow pretty much anywhere, which will probably be taters, right? Potatoes or... I'm going to go by 6x6. A couple of 6x6s. And in these, we're going to put potatoes in one, rice in another. I think we'll whack some corn down so we've got some cloth growing and some heel root. We don't have the skills for growing heel root, do we? Not yet. So instead of heel root, we will put down smoke leaf. Excellent. Smoke leaf is essentially cannabis, so we'll be able to grow weedies. We'll be able to grow the weedies. What we don't want is our wind, our power running down too much, so we might need to consider building a second source of power to keep us going. This here is a steam vent which we'll be able to eventually put a steam generator on. We definitely need to cut everything out of here as well. So just above the Timberwolf's head and just parallel with the bottom of those rocks. In fact, we'll cut all the plants out of this area. And then what we'll do is we'll convert the floor to just concrete. It uses a lot of steel though, doesn't it? And it's very ugly. Okay, we'll leave it for now. We'll just remove all the guff and we'll just tackle the trees as they grow. We do need another standing lamp going on so that people can see. Otherwise, they will not work very fast. We're going to start using a lot of power soon. And that's not a good thing. Well then, we've got a pretty sturdy base going. We have a bit of food being produced. We have a sleeping area. We have the capacity, at least, to butcher animals. And then, what details should we do on that? So, who's our best cook? 5, 4. Only Jet. We'll only have Jet doing that. I think eventually we might end up getting into butchering human beings. Haha. Take the best stockpile? Yeah, because we don't want it just dumped on the floor, do we? And we're going to put a floor down, actually, in there, so that we can... It's cheap and quite ugly to build. That's the one we want. Just some wood. Just some wood for now to make it a bit easier to work on, easier to clean, etc. Hopefully we'll be able to put those tiles back down over here. Eventually. Yes, so we're getting pretty established here. We have access to everything that we currently need. We have electricity coming in. We have food storage that is going to cause us problems if we don't. get on top of it. You, could you do me a favour? Yeah, eat your meal. Switch that off. It's not currently in use, is it, sir? Yeah, we're going to call that a day for today. So, Jet, Frankie, and Keys, very pleased to have made your company. I've been Arsenic Candy Gaming. I've been Arsenic Candy Gaming. You've been bloody marvellous as always. Don't forget to come back and... I've been Arsenic Candy Gaming. You've been bloody marvellous as always. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's really going to do us some good, pushing us forward to show other people what we're doing here. And it will just make me happy to come down and look at my phone and see that I have new people. You have a great day now. Take care. And bye-bye.